Welcome back to the Red Dice Diaries. I'm John and this is Hannah.
Hi.
And all this month we're going to be looking at the various prompts for RPGaDay 2025. So let's get into it.
So, day 26, and the word is Nemesis. Who's a good Nemesis, John?
Well, I mean, I think what makes a good Nemesis in an RPG game is it has to be someone who has a reason for conflicting with the player characters. If you come up with like a big evil sort of lich or wizard or whatever who's doing stuff but like it in no way conflicts with what the players are doing, aside from it's a game and we're the heroes and they're the villain, they don't really have a reason to actually try and stop them. In which point they don't really become like a full villain, never mind a nemesis. And when I think of Nemesis, rightly or wrongly, I think of someone who shows up more than once. They're a thorn in the player character's side. You know, it feels personal. They're like a personal nemesis. They're not just like generico villain trying to overtake a foreign land or whatever. So for me, the nemesis has to start off as a normal villain. They have to have a reason that what they're doing is objectionable to the player characters and interferes with their plans, giving them the initial reason to stop them. The villain, in order to become a nemesis, then has to like survive that initial encounter and turn up again to be a thorn in the player character's side. So, you know, like when you, just as a random example, let's say you fight against an evil lich and his like signature calling card is that all of his zombies have like glowing green eyes or whatever. Mm-hmm. They manage to escape and they teleport away when the player characters are trying to kill them, but they've defeated them. And then, you know, curse you next time, gadget next time, that sort of thing. Then later on, further down the line, the player characters come across a village that's been attacked by zombies, and the one surviving villager is like, oh, they had these horrible glowing green eyes when they attacked the village. You'll be like, oh, it's that bloody lich again. Oh, we're going to track him down this time. So that's what it means to be a nemesis for me. How about you?
I mean, yeah, I find it very difficult to put that sort of a character into a game, as you say, because the players need that sort of personal attachment to it. So for me, it's a lot more about if the players have asked for that sort of a character within the game. I'll put a villain in.
Yeah.
But unless the players want like a personal, serious beef with the villain, I'll just let them do villainous stuff and let the players decide to go and chin them.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good point, and I was just about to say that I think, you know, previously in one of these RPGaDay 2025 episodes, we were talking about how the players decide which NPC they like, and it's always like the random dude that you like didn't anticipate. I think, to be honest, the same is true to a certain extent of like a nemesis for the player party, because you could put in like, I don't know, some thief who just like swindles them out of some money. And then they're like, oh, we're going to get back at that thief. And you're like, oh, so it might be worth having that thief appearing more in the game.
Yeah, it's something that you can't be a nemesis when you first meet someone.
No, definitely not.
They've got to be a recurring villain.
Yeah.
And it's also got to be like a recurring villain that you didn't let go. Because that's more of an anti-hero sort of a thing. Okay. Like the thief in Father Brown.
Oh, Flambeau.
Yeah. He's not a nemesis. He's a strange ally.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They're often at odds, and he often gets one over on the hero, but he's not a nemesis as such. Whereas, say, Moriarty in Sherlock Holmes comes back several times, has many dastardly deeds. Many of the like other plots are potentially traced back to him, depending on what sort of Holmes you're reading or watching.
Yeah, I think as well, it's one of those, what we're talking about, them like living to fight another day effectively and come back and bedevil the player characters. Again, that's something you have to be really careful with, because I think you're walking a bit of a tightrope there, because if it just seems like you've already decided like the guy's going to get away, that could become very frustrating, because you might get to the point where you're like, oh, well, what's the point in trying to stop them, because they're just going to like teleport away again at the end.
But again, if the player characters have asked for that sort of game, that's definitely what they want. so give it to them.
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of like the NPC, sort of like the villain getting away, that's absolutely fine, but it has to be done, for my mind, in a sort of a way that if the player characters are quick enough, they can stop it. So, like, to use the thief example earlier, let's say at the end the thief's like, oh, get them, my minions, and his thugs attack them. Then the thief like jumps over a wall and he tries scarpering down a back alleyway. If the player characters are quick enough, they can catch that guy up. Whereas if it's just the Lich and he's just like Shazam, I've teleported away, there's bob all you can do about that realistically. So that, I think that would be very frustrating. Whereas if you're like, oh, we nearly had him last time, if we just succeeded in that role, we could have got him.
So something that I've done previously is where I've had a villain that had that potential for a teleport escape thing.
Okay.
But when the players have got close enough, he's used that on an, like, already used it before we've got to the final fight, so that I've let the players know that he has the capability to do that, and that way they've got a chance to stop him from doing that.
Yeah.
In his case, it was potions, and they managed to like destroy the potion before he could drink it.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. I think in a similar way to what we were talking about traps and stuff like that earlier on in the episodes, if you're going to have like a deadly trap or a deadly encounter, you need to sort of telegraph that in advance. Likewise, if you're going to have a nemesis or a villain that's got some sort of superpower attack or something like that, you need to telegraph that he's got that. Like if you're, again, I use the example of a Lich. If your Lich can like summon fire down from the heavens to like destroy everything within a 3 mile radius, you need to have been coming across villages that have been like detonated by like fireballs from the sky, so you know that's a possibility. Whereas if you've just been going along going like, oh, this Lich seems perfectly normal, he's got zombies, he's got skeletons, whatever, then he's suddenly like, oh, by the way, I've got this like magical like thermonuclear device spell like tucked in my back pocket, and he whips that out for the first time on your player characters. I can understand them feeling a bit peed off. Whereas if they've seen the evidence of like their capabilities and their villainous doings on the road to them, like you say, they can prepare and they can sort of be a bit more informed, whether they are or not, they've at least got that opportunity. But yeah, I think it's a difficult one with Nemesis, and I think by and large, for my money, you throw some villains in, and the player characters will decide who they think is their nemesis. And there's nothing wrong with, like, say, if they pick Joe Schmo, the like thief, and they're like, oh, he messed us over, he stole that money off us. There's nothing then wrong with going, oh well, maybe Joe Schmo in the intervening months, maybe he's clawed his way up the Thieves Guild ladder, maybe he's got higher villainous ambitions and sort of building on the existing guy they've already picked as their nemesis. So, you know, next time he turns up, he's been like, oh, well, that money I robbed off you, I used it to hire my own band of thugs and start my own Thieves Guild, and now I'm in charge of this Thieves Guild. And then it's already a pre-established bad guy that they hate, and you've just made him into more of a thing in your campaign world, rather than you trying as a GM trying to enforce the sort of bad guy that you want on your player characters that they might not be interested in. And let's face it, as a GM, you can pretty much do anything with your NPCs, so why not go with the one the player characters have already decided they hated? It saves them a bit of work, to be honest.
Well, yeah. If it develops naturally, then obviously this is also what your player characters want.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's it from me and Hannah for this RPGaDay 2025 episode.
Bye!
Hopefully you'll join us in the next one. Until we see you again, take care, stay safe, and whenever you're playing, have fun.